The Full-Time Review Show is supported by and brought to you by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and also by Craig International, a truly global company with 10 offices strategically placed around the world. The future of global procurement is right here. After yesterday's victory against St Johnstone, Aberdeen have achieved double figures in the win bracket in the league table. The Dons are undefeated in 7 league matches, having only conceded 1 goal in the process. The victory means we are officially safe. We remain in 8th place, but we have closed the gap to Hibs to just 1 point, and we play them next on Sunday in the capital city. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV on YouTube this Sunday night. How you doing? I hope you're all feeling an awful lot easier after at long last we have managed to secure our status in the Scottish Premiership for another season. To be honest with you, and I will be honest with you, there was a couple of times I was looking over our shoulder, but overall, I never ever feared that we would actually really get dragged in. It was touch and go, and I was nervous a couple of times. But honestly, I thought we were too good to be dragged in. Plus, I also felt that the teams below us would not have enough in their locker to be able to catch us. So I'm just delighted that we got the win yesterday, and that we got the 3 points on the board, and that we're now safe, and we as fans can all relax. Obviously, the circumstances surrounding yesterday's games were not easy, with obviously the scary news that Peter Leven was taken into hospital on Friday night, had to have an emergency procedure. Thankfully, everything has gone well, and I'm sure you will agree that we wish him nothing but the very best and the fullest of recoveries, and we hopefully will see him back on the training ground very, very soon, which meant that Scott Anderson, Craig Sampson, Johnny Hayes and Stuart Duff had to step in for yesterday's game, and I thought they all did an admirable job. So, this is the review show. You know the script. Just get in touch. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know about the game. Give me your thoughts. As always, just keep your opinions respectful, particularly once you chat amongst yourselves. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I just want to very quickly thank Charlotte, James and Suze for signing up to the Ali Beg ABTV membership recently. I'm very grateful to you guys. Please get in touch with me privately so that you guys and I can have a wee chat. So thank you for doing that. Just to reiterate the point that we were making the other night, because a lot of people are asking how you can donate to the channel, how you can gift memberships and all that sort of stuff. So basically, underneath this chat, there are 3 little icons, and one of them is $1. It's like a dollar icon. If you want to donate to the channel, then obviously just click on there and feel free to do so if you wish. It just, as I keep saying, it just helps me build the channel here. And also, thank you so much for the number of messages. And I was really quite surprised about how many messages I received after I told you about bringing on a reporter through the North East College, this initiative that we've got. And so many of you are really behind it, really support it, and think it's a really good idea. So what I'm aiming for is to try and introduce the reporter to you for the Livingston game at Pittodrie, which will obviously be our final game at Pittodrie. So I'm just hoping to get that into place. We've got a couple of hoops to jump through. If we achieve that, then I shall be introducing you to our new student reporter ahead of that game. If we don't get it across the line, then it is an initiative that will be in place for the start of next season. So I'm really, really looking forward to all of that. So just leave your thoughts. Tell me how you're feeling about the game. Let's start with the team news, because Peter picked the team ahead of the game. And there were no surprises to me that there was no changes. I was half expecting the skipper to maybe start. He obviously found himself on the bench. And I was kind of also wondering if they might tinker with the sort of the 3 formation ahead of Connor and Dante. And I wondered if Duke would have got a start. But he decided to stick with Junior Hoylett. So Bojan Miovski obviously was the difference. He got his 25th goal of the season from the penalty spot. And this is what Scott Anderson had to say after the game, who obviously took charge of the team. We were pleased with the second half in particular in terms of the chances created. And again, as we've done in the previous few fixtures, we've managed to keep the back door shut and we've got a clean sheet. So overall, it was a positive afternoon. In regards to Peter, he said, Peter's fine, he's on the mend, obviously his health comes first. So when he knew he had to go in last night, as in Friday, it was a bit of a shock, but everything's fine. And we're hoping to have Peter back in the early part of next week, back on the training pitch with the boys. So, just let me get rid of that. And I just want to drag this in for you, which is the only sort of last bit that I want to show you. So let me just get it in now before we start opening it up to you guys, which is basically the match stats. So there's a couple of pages here. So we had 65% of possession, 15 shots in total, of which 6 were on target, which was only one more than what we had last week against Motherwell. We only committed 2 fouls in the game and won 7 corners. Now, this is interesting. Successful passes, 381 in total. The passes in the final third equaled 77, which was actually down by 40 passes on last week. The touches overall was 679, which again was down about 30 passes on last week. And the touches in the box was 34, which was exactly 1 more than what we achieved against Motherwell. So, first half, I thought, again, it was like what we said in the preview show, just very slow to come out the blocks. And I just thought the first half was a bit messy. Second half, again, much, much better. Very much like the Motherwell game. I just thought we looked far more composed and far more of a threat in the second half. And I also have to say that my man of the match yesterday was Stefan Gartenmann. And I've been praising him for the past couple of weeks because I think Stefan has been absolutely superb for us in the past few weeks. You know, if you've watched the shows regularly, you know that I wasn't having a go at him, but I just felt that he lost his form and he needed to give himself a shake, which I believe he's done so. The clearance off the line yesterday was absolutely first class. And obviously he had the header, which he should have scored from. So overall, I thought he was absolutely superb yesterday. And I think that partnership with Angus MacDonald has really solidified us at the back. You just look at the goals against in recent games. We're looking very, very solid. So absolute full respect to Stefan Gartenmann. And to be honest with you, the way he's been playing and the way that he's sort of turned his form around, I think there is a genuine argument for him to maybe stay at the football club, for us to maybe try and work out a deal with his parent club to keep him at the football club. Because we will need cover in that area for next season. So yeah, I'm thrilled for him. I really am. Right, Let's get you on and see how you are. Oh, we got lots of chat. Right. Graham Barron is here. Hi, Graham. How are you, fella? Good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Great win yesterday. We're now safe. Hang on, I just want to pause that because it's distracting. Right. We can now look forward to the new season under Yumi Tallinn. We could have scored more than 1 goal to settle some nerves. I must admit, you know, they gave us a scare with a couple of minutes to go. That would be the only criticism I would say, was that we just didn't put the game to bed early enough. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, hi all, the game had an end of season feel, but we deserved the 3 points and now safe and now get as many points as we can and start building for next season. Graham came back to say, and can I just say as well, what a clearance from Gartenmann on the line, still at 0-0 at the time. And if Saints had scored that, I think we would have struggled to break them down. I agree, Graham. Scott W. makes an interesting point. I don't get this "we are safe" thing. We were never in danger. We always had 2 or 3 teams below us who were never going to pick up the needed points to pass us. Yeah, I'm with you with that, mate. But I must admit, Scott, I as I said at the top of the show, there was a couple of nervous moments. He went on to say a fine win yesterday, though, dominant, similar to the Motherwell game, a bit more composure and a wee bit of luck, and we could have hammered Saints and Motherwell as well. And he finishes off by saying, things are looking decent for Tillene coming in. He'll inherit a fine squad of players. I'm looking forward to seeing who he will sign and how he will set us up next season. Paul Donaldson is here. Hi, Paul. How are you, pal? He says, good evening, dandies. It's not that long ago that we were in real trouble and there was a serious threat of a relegation playoff. Peter Leven has saved our season. Massive appreciation to him. And hope he's able to recover as quickly as possible. Hear, hear. So Graham Barron came on. I actually saw this as well, Graham. That he saw it on a different Don's chat site, a sort of related page. Do you think Jimmy Tillene would bring in or try to bring in on loan Sadiq from Hakan? Or Hacken, however you want to pronounce it, since he will be familiar with him playing in the Swedish league. He would be brilliant if he did. So Sadiq was, from memory, he was the guy that caused us all sorts of troubles when we played Hacken. He was their outstanding player. Drifted in, if I remember, from the flanks. If I remember correctly, he drifted in more from the left-hand side and was a real thorn in our side. He's the type of player that would suit us perfectly. Graham Barron. Scott W. has reminded everybody that Sadiq signed for AZ Alkmaar after we played Hacken at the start of the season. You've interacted with each other over that, which is great. And Scott W. came back to say, I think Jimmy will certainly look to Sweden for a couple of players. He might even look to Elfsborg, who by the way, had a magnificent win today, I think it was today, against Malmo, which has really set the cat among the pigeons. Scott W. said he's genuinely looking forward to see what happens with Jimmy Tillene. I can't see there being a massive number brought in, maybe 6 or 7, depending on leaves, of course. Paul Donaldson came back to say, thought Gartenman had a good game yesterday, but it was a shame the ball came to him and not Miovski after Hoylett's free kick hit the bar. Polvara, really good too. Graham Barron said, first priority is keeping Bojan Miovski. I actually said this yesterday on the Big Saturday Football Show, that I think the priority has got to be to try and extend Bojan Miovski's contract. Don't forget, he's still got another year with us. I think it's going to be very difficult to keep him. He scored, 25 goals this season. And he is absolutely, he's our main man, isn't he? And I suggested yesterday that potentially Jimmy's got to think about building the team around him going forward. But I think it will be difficult. But again, if a club does come in for me, it's got to be double figures. It absolutely has got to be double figures. And if we accept anything less than that, then I think we've undersold again. Right. Let me just come back up a touch. Sorry, I just need to jump back up. The musical box is here. Hi, how you doing? He says, hey guys, Rob McLean called out new manager Jimmy Tillene on Red TV yesterday. So Jimmy T it is, since it avoids most of the awkward pronunciation problems that might arise. It was Jimmy. Was Jimmy, not Yimmy though. Well, okay, so there's been a bit of discussion about how you pronounce his first name. And I've had a couple of people who have come to me. One who's a friend of mine who is actually Swedish. He's one of my best pals from Qatar. And he says you pronounce it Yimmy. And another guy came to me who is a Scottish guy who has lived most of his life in Sweden and speaks fluent Swedish. He also said it is pronounced Yimmy. What we need to do is we need to actually speak to him to find out how to pronounce his name properly. Then we can put it to bed, can't we? Scott W. has also said, put a price tag of 10 million on Bojan Miovski. Derek Griffiths has said, good evening, Ali. Good win yesterday and glad we're safe now. So maybe give the younger players a chance until the end of the season. David Gold has wished everyone a good evening. David Scott said, hi Ali, good win yesterday. Onwards and upwards, hopefully finish top of the bottom 6. Exactly. Gray Pilgrim says, do we keep a winning lineup to gub the Hibs, or do we see what Doohan, Morris, McGarry, Ruby can do? I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's what I think. I think we should just stick with the team that's doing well at the moment, because I just think, it's what Peter has said, when the split fixtures came out, that he set the guys a target, which was to finish top of the bottom 6. And I think we should absolutely be doing that. So, look, I understand giving players minutes and all that sort of stuff. I get that. But honestly, as it stands, I would be sticking with roughly the same team that's played week in, week out the past 2 or 3 weeks. Kirsten McKeechney. Hi, Kirsten. How you doing? She says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Good to go into the last few games safe. Exactly. Rod Cower says, good evening. Another clean sheet. McDonald and Gartenman look to be forming a good relationship. I think we've clocked more clean sheets in the past month or so than the rest of the season combined. Scott W. has said, in the last 5 games, we've picked up 8 more points than Hibs, so momentum is certainly with us. Kevin Mayner says, delighted that we're now safe. Thought Palvara had another good game and is turning into a mainstay in the team as he's got a superb engine on him. Kilted Warrior has wished everybody a very good evening. David Galder says, glad they stuck with the midfield. No disrespect to Graham Shinney, but we've played well without him. John Dorwood is on, wishing everyone a good evening. As is Chris Barrett. Hearts fan here from Edinburgh. Good to see you back to winning ways. Thank you, Chris. Top man. Craig Bilgram has said, good to see some sustained possession. Been awful at times with 3 touches and losing the ball. Sorted at last. Graham Barron has said, I know it's not Dons related, but can I say congratulations to Wes Burns and Don Ball for getting Premiership promotion. Once a Don, always a Don, and all that jazz. John Dorwood says, Gartenman having McDonald beside him, Ali. Strange how we've improved with an experienced defender in the side. I agree, John. He goes on to say, if Gartenman stays, then that's 3 right-footed centre-halves. Surely we need some natural left-sided players too. Yeah, take your point, mate. The Musical Box said, Gartenman does much better with McDonald beside him because they're quite different players. Rod Cower says, hopefully McDonald and Ruby could also form a solid partnership. McDonald appears to be a calming influence at the back. John Dorwood is just confirming that Elfsborg did beat Malmo 3-1 today. Big result for Jimmy Tillin. Barry Cool is on. Hi Barry, how you doing? He says, good evening, dandies. Played some decent stuff yesterday. Bob is on. Hi Bob. Yeah, Elfsborg beat Malmo today with 28% possession of the ball. Simon Roy is here. Hi Simon. Good evening, dandies. Great to be safe. Good for the nerves. Think McDonald is captain for next season. Is there any truth in Yumi coming in early now? Hope Peter has a speedy recovery. So I think we need to put this to bed. I think, it's not going to happen. He's not going to come in early. He's even said himself that he's not going to come in early. They've set the date of the 3rd of June, and that's when everyone is fully expecting him to begin his tenure as Aberdeen's new manager. So I don't think he will come in early. Jonathan Livingston has said there's no chance of us keeping Miovski. Neil709 says, hi all, poor game, but a good 3 points. Neil Strachan has said, Ali, do you think Big Bojan will stay next season? I think he will. I'm excited already for us with Jimmy Tillin for next season up the Dons. So, do I think he'll stay? It's a really difficult one because, his stock has obviously risen quite significantly since he's come to Aberdeen. He plays international football, so he's on the international stage. And he is obviously scored a number of goals. He is quite obviously attracting a lot of attention, which I'm not surprised about. And sometimes money does talk. And I think when you're a professional player, because you know you have a shelf life, that sometimes if a carrot is dangled in front of you and you get offered what would be a very lucrative contract, which could potentially make you and your family financially secure, then that temptation is very difficult to resist, I think. I personally, if a big club came in for him and offered him a very lucrative deal, I would have no issues at all if he decided to leave, because I totally get it. And I think we all get it. And we would all be in the same boat, let's be honest. If someone offered us an opportunity to make our families financially secure, you would jump at the chance, absolutely. The only thing I hope is that the club, if a bid does come in for him, that we absolutely get the right price for him, and that we use those funds to build again and to find players from the continent who potentially could replace him. So I don't want him to leave. Of course I don't want him to leave. I want him to see out his contract. I would be absolutely over the moon if he extended his contract. I think it would be one hell of a scoop if we did. But I think it's going to be difficult. I really do. Purely because of the financial implications for the player. But by God, do I hope he stays. Jude says on this topic, I think Bojan will be sold to free up some cash, as we won't get the Lewis Ferguson sell-on money due to his injury. David Galder says, go full strength against Hibs. I agree with that, David. The musical box says, doesn't matter how they pronounce Jimmy in Sweden, he is going to get called Jimmy every day in Scotland. You're absolutely spot on, mate. I completely agree with that. Bob came back to says, we have players on the threshold of a suspension running into next season. Shinnie, for example. So anybody in that position should be rested now. Yeah, it's a good point. I'll take that. Jonathan Livingston is asking a very decent question. He's saying, how many SPFL players have sold for double figures? I can only think of one, Kieran Tierney. Never been a non-Old Firm player for 10 million plus. Miovski, 8 million max, and that's been optimistic. Barry Cool is reminding everybody that Hibs' defence is absolutely honking. I don't know what's going on at Hibs. They're just falling apart. Bob has said, rest Devlin, Miovski and bench Barron. Bring in Jack, Esther and Ryan. Charles Craig says, I've been disappointed in recent weeks with Duke's form. Does not seem to be as committed, but perhaps he's lost confidence. Do we think he will fit into Talline's style of play or be able to adapt? Barry Cool has said, Craig Levine looked very depressed on Sportscene last night. St Johnstone are in trouble. I agree with that. Neom709 has just reminded everybody of Garterman's brilliant clearance yesterday. Kevin Spencer said, play the strongest team against Hibs, then maybe rest a few against Livingston, then play the strongest team against Ross County. Transmission GGB is a touch late. Don't worry. Fit like, he's asking. Fit like yourself, lad. Colin Strachan has said, Nicky Devlin has been a liability in so many recent games. I don't think he's been at his best, I've got to be honest. And I think his distribution at times has let him down. But I'd still have him in there because I think as a defender, he's very, very solid. I do think he also helps solidify our back four. He has an absolute heart of an ox. And I get what you're saying because I get a little bit frustrated with his distribution. But I'd still have him in, I've got to be honest. Kevin Maynard said, went and watched Inverness on Friday night and thought Cameron Harper was outstanding with a great delivery. Definitely someone we could look at. Stand free. John Dorwood is asking, what's the prize money for the places? If it's significant, we should play a strong side to the end of the season and get more dollars in for Tulleen. Rod Cow, thanks Rod for pointing this out, because I tried to have a look at this today, but obviously the Press and Journal and the Evening Express are behind paywalls at the moment, so I couldn't get in there. But he's talking about the stats about Junior Hoylett's Motherwell performance. 88.9% passes completed, number 1 for crosses delivered, 3 times more than the next best on, and second for duels won. Great effort. Listen, I said it again in the preview show that I personally would like to see him stay another season. I think his balls into the box have been absolutely telling in the past few games. I think it's made all the difference. And what I like about him is that as soon as he gets on the ball, the first thing he's looking to do is either take his man on or get the ball into the box as soon as he can. And for me, that has been seriously lacking all season. That we've not put enough crosses into the box for Bojan, Esta, whoever. And I really like that about Junior. So, yeah, look, I think if there's an opportunity to sign him for another season, I would take it. Fraser Gunn is here. Hi, Fraser. How are you, fella? Greetings, everybody. 1-0 win. Clean sheet. 3 points. Big tick in the box. Happy days. Clean sheets breed confidence. Peter Levine and the coaching staff, deserve enormous credit. Neom709 has reminded everybody that Devlin got us the penalty, driving into the box. That's what he should be doing. Transmission GGB in terms of Bojan has said, I hope we can keep him, but money does talk. Scott M has said, for me, it has to be 15 million plus a big sell-on clause for Bojan. John Dorwood has said, we sold a more regular international player in Ramadani for peanuts. We can't make that mistake with Miovski. Get a big initial fee and not rely on big sell-ons, which might not happen. I agree that. I can't believe. For me, we gave Hilbert, we gave him away. We absolutely gave him away. For me, that was criminal. It really annoyed me, that. Boba says, Yimmy's likening for ceding possession is fine when versus the better sides is all well and good. How it will be approached against matches against rubbish sides like St Johnstone when we have the majority of the ball, he's asking. Graham Finlater, I said, was at the game yesterday. 3 points is all that mattered. Doubt Bojan will stay, but we'll get good money to replace him. He's earned a move. Get Babbage back in and get back out to the European market. Barry has said that the rumour is that he loves Aberdeen and there is a contract on offer of £10,000 a week. You see, I've also been told reliably that he's very happy in the city, that he enjoys his football here, that he's very much settled. So yeah, for me, it's all about the money. Ralph Ainsworth has said, think we'll have Bojan next season. Not sure he is in any hurry to leave. Enjoying his football. New exciting managerial appointment coming in. One more season, I think. The musical box thinks that Duke will leave in the summer. Okay, so a lot of you have just recently commented on the fantastic display for Punk yesterday. You know, our legendary Aberdeen supporter, who he was, you know, I said it yesterday that, you know, I have very, very slight recollections of this chap, who very much was a force of nature in the beach end. He got everybody up and singing, and you know, he was a real standout character. You couldn't really miss him because of the jacket that he wore with all his little pins, and he always wore scarves on his arms. Honestly, you couldn't really miss him. What an absolute character he was. And the TIFO yesterday that was organised by Andy Forbes, I thought was absolutely magnificent, and I hope his family were incredibly proud. And I have to say a massive, massive thanks to Andy for organising that, because, you know, he put out a request to be able to finance the TIFO. He asked for a certain amount of money, and it was achieved within a matter of hours, I believe, which just goes to show the highest regard that punk was held in. So it was just, I love all that stuff. I absolutely love it. You know, not just remembering, you know, our playing legends and legends of the football club, but, you know, supporters. I'm absolutely all for that. It was wonderful. It really was. Bob come back up to say, we set up the punk display yesterday. Brilliant how it was received. Honestly, Bob, fantastic. I think, I'm absolutely convinced, and I could be wrong on this, so please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm absolutely convinced that I heard Rob McLean say on Red TV yesterday that it was the biggest TIFO display that's been seen at Pittodrie. Can somebody confirm that for me? I'm sure that's what he said. Scott W said, I don't think Bojan will leave us for just anyone. Yeah, I'm with that. I get the feeling he knows where he wants his career to go. He'll only leave if it's right for him. Yeah, I agree. Kirsten came back about the display for punk. It was brilliant yesterday. She says, well done to all involved. Barry Cole said, thanks to Andy Forbes for getting this set up. Neom709 says, the display looked absolutely magnificent from the Red Shed. Musical Box said, Hoylett is worth keeping, I think, but Yimmy T may have people he would prefer because of his age. A few folk have agreed that they would like to see Junior Hoylett stay. Think he's worth keeping. Transmission GGB says, need wide players for options next season and a couple of goalkeepers. I hope we keep Hoylett and might need another striker, and I think Miovski is a £20 million player. Scott W said, if Bojan does go, we've got Sokler. That laddie has done well when called upon this season. With a run of games, he could be the new Miovski. It's a good point, mate. Bob said, interesting, Bob, I never knew this. How did you know this? Ramadani had a clause in his contract which stipulated the transfer fee. Interesting. Kirsten came back to say that she agrees about Sokler, would be a good replacement for Miovski, as there's definitely a player there. Transmission GGB says, I pray we can somehow keep Miovski and he can score another 25 or more goals in a better team and we'll be okay next season. John Kilo is on. Hi, John. How are you? Bojan has been in a lot of bad situations during his career regarding clubs and is very happy here. Doesn't mean he won't go, but he's not in a hurry. Barry Cole says, I also think Sokler will be decent. Scott W. Thank you, Scott. So Rob McLean did say it was the biggest TIFO seen at Pittodrie. Isn't that brilliant? The biggest TIFO seen at Pittodrie for a fan. I love that. Love it. Kevin Maynard says, can't believe Miovski is not in the running for Player of the Year. He's been absolutely outstanding in a poor Don side this year. Words escape me that he was not in the running for the Player of the Year. What are these people? What football are these people watching? It's just, the mind boggles. Jonathan Livingston has said, what a TIFO display. Rest in peace, Punk. Barry Cole said, between that and Tatis, yeah. Musical Box says, I agree that Sokler looks to me like a lad with serious potential if he can get a run in the side. Colin Strachan has said, Sokler suffering from a lack of game time, which he's never going to get, while Bojan is around. No doubt there is a player there, though. Neil has come back to say the display was brilliant, and I remember Russell Anderson's was huge too for his testimonial against Everton. Paul Donaldson has said there was also a good tribute for Punk in the programme yesterday. Cool. Neil Strachan has said, Ali, I think the new home kit will definitely be red and the away kit will be a yellow and blue, and the tifo yesterday for Punk was fantastic. Up the Dons. Yellow and blue, mate. Oh, I'm not sure it will be. I can see where you're going with that because of Yimmy, but I can't see that happening, fella. Jonathan has said, we need to accept Miovski is better than where we are. Duke Sokler can be progressed to be our next big seller. We are a seller club. Maybe one day we can be a keeper club, but it's far away right now. Barry Kohler said, best fans in Scotland. 100% agree. Right, how long have we done? 35 minutes. Brilliant. Right, guys, so I think what we'll do is we'll call it a night. So the idea this week is I'm just trying to, because obviously we don't play again until Sunday. So I think I'll come in either Friday night or Saturday night to do the preview show ahead of the Hibs game. I'll make my mind up on that later on in the week. But I'm hoping to get at least 2 quickfire question and answer videos out for you this week. I'm just trying to get them over the line so that at least we've got content throughout the week as well. So guys, listen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to those who continue to sign up to the membership scheme. If you enjoyed tonight's show, don't forget to press the old like button. And again, I keep saying it, there's a huge percentage of you who watch the show who don't subscribe to the channel. Now, don't be confused with the subscription name, because for me, it's very misleading. If you want to follow this channel, just press subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's 100% free. You just click the little button and it just means that you're now following this page. It's very much like following someone on X or on Facebook. So it doesn't cost anything at all. That's why I think that word subscribe is a little bit misleading. So thank you. Keep it going. Have a fantastic week. And I will hopefully see you at least a couple of times during the week. Take good care of yourselves. Stand free.